1. The Ben Franklin effect. We often assume that doing favors for others makes them like us, but psychological research suggests the opposite. People actually grow to like you more when they do a small favor for you. The story behind the effect comes from Benjamin Franklin himself. During his political career, Franklin faced a strong rival who disliked him. Instead of trying to win the man over with gifts or arguments, Franklin simply asked to borrow a rare book from him. The rival agreed. Soon after, they became friends. Psychologists explain this through the lens of cognitive dissonance. When someone helps you, even if they initially dislike you, their brain faces a contradiction. Why would I help someone I don't like? To resolve this discomfort, their mind adjusts the story. I must like them, or else I wouldn't have helped. This isn't just theory. A 1969 study by Jecker and Landy found that participants who were asked to return money directly to a researcher rated him as more likable than those who were not asked for anything. How to apply this practically? Ask for small favors, nothing intrusive. For example, can you help me choose between these two ideas? Or do you know a good cafe nearby? Or could you give me your honest opinion on this? People like feeling useful, insightful, and needed. By allowing them to invest a little effort into your relationship, you open the door to an authentic connection. You don't need to be loud, impressive, or fake. You just need to let others show up for you, and their own psychology will help deepen the bond. 2. Mirroring. Mirroring is one of the most powerful silent tools for connection. It's not about obvious copying. It's about subtly syncing your body language, tone, and energy with the person you're interacting with. Humans are wired for connection through mimicry. Psychologists Tanya Chartrand and John Bargh called this the chameleon effect. We naturally imitate each other without even realizing it. When you mirror someone, their brain interprets it as, I feel safe here. It builds unconscious trust. How to use mirroring properly. Posture. Match their level of openness and relaxation. If they lean back, you lean slightly back. If they lean in, you lean forward a bit. Gestures. Reflect subtle hand movements or head tilts. Keep it natural. No robotic copying. Speech pace and tone. Speak slower if they are slow. Add energy if they are hyped. Match their rhythm, not their exact words. Facial expressions. Smile when they smile, nod when they nod. Mirror emotions, not just actions. Done naturally, mirroring creates a deep, invisible link between you and the other person. It's not manipulation, it's harmonization. For introverts, this is a gift. You don't need to dominate the conversation. You just need to tune in. 3. The name drop. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to create a connection is by using a person's name. The sound of our own name triggers activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with self-identity. Hearing your name feels personal. It commands attention and builds emotional resonance. How to use names effectively. Start strong. Use their name when greeting them. Validate during conversation. For example, that's a really thoughtful point, Sarah. Close with warmth. For example, talk to you soon, Marcus. The goal isn't to overuse their name, it's to weave it naturally into key emotional moments. For introverts especially, this technique builds depth and trust without the need for high-energy performance. 4. The spotlight effect. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like everyone was watching you, judging how you move, how you speak, every little detail? It's not real. It's called the spotlight effect, a psychological illusion. In a 2000 study, participants wore embarrassing t-shirts and assumed everyone noticed. In truth, hardly anyone did. Because the reality is simple. People are too focused on themselves. They're caught up in their own worries, not yours. Once you internalize this, you gain an advantage. You stop playing defense. You start playing offense. You can move freely, speak, act, take risks without the weight of imagined judgment. While others are stuck inside their own heads, you stay clear, calm, and strategic. You're not trapped under the spotlight. You're operating behind it. And here's the irony. When you stop trying to manage how you're perceived, when you stay relaxed and direct, you become more noticeable. Because true confidence stands out in a world full of self-consciousness. So remember, most people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. You're free to move, speak, and lead without fear. 5. The foot in the door technique. Let's talk about how to make people say yes before they even realize they're agreeing. It's called the foot in the door technique, and it's one of the oldest persuasion tactics in psychology. You don't start by asking for what you really want. You ask for something small, something harmless, something no one wants to say no to. Because here's how the brain works. Once someone agrees to a small request, they're way more likely to agree to a bigger one later. Stanford ran a legendary study in the 60s. They asked homeowners to put a massive, ugly, drive-safe sign in their yard. Most said no, but when they first asked them to put a tiny sticker in the window, then came back later with the big request, 76% said yes. The reason? Humans strive for consistency. Once someone says yes to something small, they are psychologically inclined to continue aligning with that behavior. How to apply this? Instead of asking someone new to hang out for hours, ask for a 2-minute favor. Instead of pitching your full idea at work, ask for feedback on one small part. Each small yes builds momentum. For introverts, this strategy removes pressure. It creates organic progress without needing to push or oversell. 6. The touch triad. Use respectfully. Touch is one of the earliest ways we communicate trust and belonging. It triggers oxytocin release, the hormone associated with bonding, affection, and emotional safety. When used appropriately, brief touches can deepen connection more powerfully than words. But context matters. Touch must be respectful, welcome, and culturally appropriate. 3 safe forms of connectional touch. The shoulder tap, a brief touch when greeting or emphasizing a positive point. The arm brush, a light, fleeting contact on the forearm during moments of shared laughter or agreement. The goodbye pat, a gentle tap on the upper back when parting ways, signaling warmth and goodwill. 7. Body language mastery. Before you even speak, your body is already communicating everything. If you want people to feel safe around you, trust you, and open up, mastering a few essential nonverbal cues is critical. Key principles to embody. Relax your shoulders. Keep your chest open and your stance grounded. Avoid crossing your arms or shrinking into yourself. Openness signals safety and receptivity. Genuine smiling. A real smile reaches the eyes, signaling authenticity and openness. It lowers barriers instantly. Natural nodding. Nodding during conversation shows engagement and encourages the speaker to open up more. Gentle leaning. Leaning slightly forward at moments of importance communicates attentiveness and empathy. 8. Eye contact triangles. Eye contact, when overdone, can feel intense, even predatory. When underdone, it can signal disinterest or insecurity. The solution lies in the eye contact triangle technique. How to practice it? Focus on one eye for 3 to 5 seconds. Shift gently to the other eye for another 3 to 5 seconds. Then glance briefly at their mouth before returning to the eyes. This technique prevents staring, keeps the interaction natural, and builds a deeper sense of engagement. It draws the other person in without overwhelming them. For introverts, it offers a calm, confident way to maintain presence without feeling locked into intense, rigid eye contact. 9. Join third-place spaces. Sociologist Ray Oldenburg coined the term third place to describe environments that are neither home, first place, nor work, second place, but vital spaces of community and connection. Cafes, parks, libraries, bookstores, and hobby clubs are all examples. Third places offer a low-pressure backdrop where interactions happen organically. There is no need for loud self-promotion or forced small talk. In third places, you meet people through shared environments, not social posturing. How to integrate third places into your life. Find spaces aligned with your interests. Visit regularly enough to become a familiar face. Stay open, but patient. Meaningful conversations often begin with small, unplanned exchanges. Connection does not always need to be chased. Sometimes it needs only to be allowed. 10. Become the connector. The final and perhaps most powerful technique is to shift your mindset from getting connection to creating connection. Become the bridge between others. Notice common interests, complementary strengths, and shared dreams. Introduce people to one another, facilitate conversations, offer opportunities for others to shine. When you become a connector, your value multiplies silently. You no longer need to demand attention. You become trusted, respected, and remembered. You are not just another voice in the crowd. You are the reason the crowd feels like a community.